This segment is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Hey, check out their Facebook Live auctions as well as their Whatnot auctions, shipping nationwide. Hello, and welcome to our first full video in 2025. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, regardless of what you celebrate. I hope you had a happy Hanukkah. I hope you had a happy Christmas, Kwanzaa, Festivus. Doesn't matter. As long as you're surrounded by loved ones, people that you care about. Because, hey, this might be our last Christmas in anticipation of what's going to happen in the next 4 years. You know, who knows? We could run out of toilet paper. God knows what the hell else is going to happen. Anyway, speaking of friends and family, I got this wonderful t-shirt from our good friends over at Simple Tricks and Nonsense. That's right. This is a very limited run of t-shirts, and if there's more people that are interested in this, because this is just cool all to itself. People comment about this shirt just because Johnny Havoc had this amazing, for Rebecca and him, this is amazing. Speaking of that, head over to their Instagram page and also check out Rebecca's Sith Crush Instagram page. It is very, very beautiful, tastefully done, artistic. This husband and wife team it's just, I'm not saying that because, they live the town over and they're good friends. They're practically family to me. But Rebecca is one of the most beautiful people inside and outside. She's really humble and sweet. And that's what I see when I see her. I just see this beautiful person that's inside and just cool. She's every nerd's dream because she knows about all of these amazing Gen X era stuff, and her knowledge is, not just a pretty face, she's also very, very smart. So support them. Head over to both Simple Tricks and Nonsense as well as Sith Crush's Instagram page, and hey, support them because they deserve it. Anyway, we're going to do our monthly comic book pickup episode. That's right. We've been doing this since 2014, and it was nice to head over to Famous Faces and Funnies, which, as I mentioned in our earlier video, has moved to a new location, even bigger comic shops. And why is that significant to you in other parts of the country? It's to show you that local comic shops are important, and they are vital to a community, and they can be successful. There's been so many comic shops have been closing since the pandemic, and I think that is one of the things that a community cannot afford to lose, because it's a safe space for everybody, regardless what you are. I don't care if you're a green alien. It is a safe place for everybody. That's why every community needs to support their local LCS. All right, so we're going to dive into the action. And DC, like I mentioned last month, DC has been trending up. It's been trending, getting a lot of popularity and attention. Of course, the new Superman trailer dropped, the James Gunn's DCU. He has that Creature Commandos, what's that, on HBO Max, with the kind of like the Suicide Squad or Guardians, but with the DC world. So it's like the team C or D as far, and then it's a really good show. I don't know anything about these characters. There's the Bride, which is the bride of Frankenstein. There's like a radioactive man. There's the Weasel, but it is a very good show. I mean, if you don't subscribe to HBO Max, maybe you could find some stuff like recaps, little clips where basically it's giving you the episode, but it's kind of broken out. But it is a very good show. I've been very impressed with that. I mean, after X-Men 97, I think this is the next best thing as far as animation, goes. It is that damn good. I really enjoy it. And I don't know shit about these characters, but that's the thing of good writing. If you don't know anything, but how the story kind of like takes you along the journey and kind of fills in the gaps as you go while still maintaining what's relevant in the current storyline. So that's an art form that, unfortunately Disney Star Wars has not figured out yet. But in this case, they have, and it's very good. So let's dive into the first issue. And of course, we're going to start with, all right, since I mentioned this absolute Batman, this absolute world that they're doing DC, and I talked about it when we looked at Absolute Batman #1. It is a completely different spin on the holy trinity of, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. But it is so well done. Scott Snyder, I think, is behind Absolute Batman. So here we have the cover for Absolute Batman #3. And if you're not into this, go, whether you read it online or, go to a local comic shop or have to order it. Simple, Famous Faces and Funnies, you could actually buy comics and they'll mail them out to you. So let them know and they'll be more than happy. The shipping is not expensive at all. And it's all to the lower 48 states. But definitely check in this Absolute Batman. I'm at issue 3 right now, and it's like, wow, I think Ultimate Spider-Man. So this is their answer to Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men that Marvel is doing, a totally different kind of world, the Ultimate world. Now they have the Absolute world for DC. And you'd think it would be cheesy, but it's not. It's actually very well done. So this is Absolute Batman issue #3 in a variant cover, and I like this cover. I think this is really nice as well. Even the regular covers. And this is Absolute Wonder Woman #1. I got to pick up 2 and 3, but this is another excellent thing. Wonder Woman was not raised by the mom that we all know, Aunt Themyscira. She's actually raised in hell by by Circe. So that's all I'm going to give you, and that premise right there is what makes this so appealing. How would a Wonder Woman raised by Circe in like the first level of hell, think about Dante's Inferno, how would that woman turn out? And you'd be surprised on how awesome this Wonder Woman takes no shit. But at the same time, she has all the qualities of being Wonder Woman. It is so well done. Who's the writer? Kelly Thompson is the writer for this. I tip my cap to you, Kelly. This is phenomenal. So definitely check out the Ultimate series. I haven't got Ultimate Superman. I haven't been doing that. Batman and Wonder Woman, I definitely. So eventually, I will get the probably the 6th printing of the sixth time of the first issue, I guess. And then also Detective Comics. So I started reading Detective Comics around 1090. So this is at 1092. The whole premise is, now I'm not trying to give away, but I'm trying to get you interested, is what if Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas Wayne, saved the person that eventually shot him because of his oath, the Hippocratic Oath, No matter, the person could be a complete shitball, but you took an oath that no matter what, you're going to do your best for your patients. I know this because I'm in veterinary medicine now. So it doesn't matter, what you have to perform. And it's just kind of funny how that decision is going to change everything in Batman's story arc. And this is canon. So I'm 90% sure it's canon. So this what if actually has a lot of weight into how Batman goes from this point on. There was always something that kind of held him back. But once he discovers that his dad is pretty much the reason for everything to unfold, What if he did not let this person die? A totally different scenario would have happened. And all Thomas Wayne had to do is say, this guy's beyond saving. If that got you interested, like as it did me as a Batman fan, especially in the 90s, you know, that 1989, the Tim Burton movie, you know, if you lived through that, you'll enjoy this. So check that out. DC Comics number 1092. I would start around like I did, 1090, just to get the backstory a little bit more. All right, our next book is no surprise to our regulars. It's one of my guilty pleasures, and because I'm good friends with artist, writer, Jim Balin. And, you know, the cool thing is, like, a lot of people are starting to recognize Jim Balin's contributions, his artwork. I think the whole Dave Stevens thing that's been good, that went on last year, where all of Dave Stevens' pinup covers are high dollar now. Before they weren't as expensive. Now you can't even, you know, the prices are just so high. Now I have the Dave Stevens Elvira cover. I think that's Elvira House of Mysteries number 11, and that's the one with Elvira riding on a broomstick. I'll put the picture up here. That's actually on its way back from grading, so I'll be able to showcase that to you when we do our monthly PGX unboxing videos. And I know we haven't done that in a while, and there's a reason behind that. You know, we had the hurricane and everything, so I kind of let it sit there for a while, you know, things got resituated down here. But anyway, this is Tarot Witch of the Black Rose, issue number 144. And yes, the cover is, I mean, my regulars know it is what it is, but hey, that's what makes it good, is because these are all fantasy. This is just a wonderful, I've loved Tarot Witch of the Black Rose. I know our good friend Chris Pierce kind of, you know, frowned upon it. Let's just put it that way, I think. But I think this is the whole point of the natural progression of comics as you're in your, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s. There's no harm there. It's not like, you know, but the story itself is what's interesting. And of course, Jim Balin's artwork is, his Catwoman is the defining Catwoman. I think everyone universally agrees upon. When you picture Catwoman, you're picturing Jim Balin's Catwoman. And I think that speaks volume. And I've said this on this channel many, many, many times. Now, if Jim was more a yes man, let's put it that way, company yes man, his name would be among the Jim Lees, the Todd McFarlane, the Rob Liefelds. That's how good his art works. And if you read his 90s stuff at DC, you see that. And, you know, once he basically flipped DC the Bird, said, I'm not, you know, because I think they told him to tone down the breasts, you know, make them a little less sexy. He's like, this is how I draw. Take it or leave it. And he said, bye. You tip your hat to the guy for just basically doing that to his corporate overlords. That's another reason why I became a fan of Jim, and he's also a big metal guy too. So his artwork is absolutely stunning. I mean, showed it off a little bit earlier, but like I think Jim Balin is going to be up there with Dave Stevens as far as like people are going to start understanding and appreciating his stuff more. And I could say I was on the bandwagon first. Alrighty, so our next book. Our next book, like I said, is going to be Thundercats issue number 11. Now, the word is starting to get out that Thundercats is a very good ongoing series, and Dynamite's doing a good job. The covers, even though Dynamite makes a shitload of covers, but there's still one or two that even the normal comic fans are starting to get interested in, like the variant covers. They're in demand. Again, the story arc has been very, very well done. It, like I said, it blends the familiarity. Now we're going into the second story arc. It is very well done for Thundercats fans, for 80s kids, Gen Xers. I think this has been one of those pleasantly surprised runs so far. And you would think that it would lose steam after, like, now we're at issue number 11, but it has enough legs to keep going forward. And that's what I like. A lot of these, like, we've seen in the past, Thundercats will be revived or something will be revived, Robotech, and it would fall by, even He-Man, Masters of the Universe. There's so many things that just really haven't stuck. And, people have been trying to, like, get relevance, but it's not like G.I. Joe or Transformers. All the other 80s IPs have been struggling to maintain a consistent, reliable stream of interests. So I have to give credit where credit's due. Dynamite's team is doing a very good job with this Thundercats series. So, like I've said, the previous 11 months, definitely pick it up if you haven't. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Alrighty, my regulars know, there's no shortage of G.I. Joes in this channel. So we have G.I. Joe issue number 312 with the nice Jinx cover. I think this is cover B. I think it's cover B. See, that's what I miss about the IDW run, is that the IDW run would print like the different, well, it was always 3. But in this case, there you go. Here we go. Yeah, so they're sticking with 3. Like they'll list like the 3 that are upcoming, as well as the other G.I. Joe related books that are coming out. A lot of now are on trade paperback. So if you'd rather get everything done at one shot, go to your local LCS or call Famous Faces and put in an order, because they made a omnibus of the Duke series, which was like 6-7 issues. The Scarlet series, which I think has like 5 or 6 issues. Destros series, which was a couple. And then the Cobra Commander series. So instead of hunting down those it might be cost effective just to buy the omnibus. And that's a funny word, omnibus. So that might be something if you're a G.I. Joe fan to catch up instead of buying. But it's so funny, like ever since the 2018 jumping back on board, thanks to the classifieds, G.I. Joe comics, that's another reason why I haven't been really recapping, is that, all of these sudden, and I call them bandwagon jumpers as a joke, tongue in cheek, because G.I. Joe never went away, and all of a sudden these people have suddenly, oh yeah, G.I. Joe, yeah, I know everything, but they missed the entire IDW run, they're still based on Sunbow, which is not the Hamaverse, that's the Sunbow verse. But again, this is still Larry Hama. This is what Larry Hama is going to keep doing until his hands prevent him from doing it anymore. So I've talked to Larry. My regulars know I've got the pleasure to speak to him several times, in messages back and forth. And basically that's what he indicated. He's like, yeah, I could stop now, and there'll be no shame in that, but I kind of want to keep going, and I know that a lot of men, hey, we're getting there, guys. When they retire, they don't know what the hell to do with themselves. So he says doing this keeps him sharp, his mind sharp, things to do, and that's very important as a good diet and exercise, So I appreciate him doing this for a lot longer, and I'm glad that, despite the new G.I. Joe stuff with the Energon universe, that there's still the Hammerverse going on in 2025. That's freaking awesome. All right, so speaking of the Energon universe, we have G.I. Joe issue number 2. So this is the regular A cover that we have. There you go. And now we have the 1 in 10 incentive cover of CoverGirl. Oh, you like CoverGirl, huh, Nikki Nix? So Nikki Nix likes CoverGirl. So CoverGirl, I cannot pass a good female cover. Hey, I'm a red-blooded male. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's all comic books. It's not like it was real people anyway. And then I also got the 1 in 10 variant of the Scarlet series. Now, I read Scarlet 1 and 2, and I kind of didn't like it, and I didn't pick up 3 or 4, but I do like this cover. I like how Storm Shadow is there. I have like the slice of the katana. I wish they had like a drop of blood. I think that would have been just a little, maybe 2 drops and a little pool down there. I would suggest that to the artist to fully, maximize what he's trying to portray. But this is a nice cover. So that's Scarlet issue number 5. Alrighty. So even though this is a small pickup month, I want to bring up the Amazing Spider-Man. And a lot of people, that Zeb Wells run that he had was complete shit. It's sad to see that such an iconic character, Spider-Man, and they got a writer that was just awful. It was a struggle to get through his entire story arc. But, like I said a couple months ago, they did hire a new writer. The Zeb Wells era is over. And now we have the Ireland run of Amazing Spider-Man. And a new story arc. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 63. The new story arc is the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And they're saying that, Marvel Comics side, saying that they're going to really work hard to bring Spider-Man back up. And so far, they're off to a nice start. I'm not going to say I'm through the moon. I'm not excited as I was with the Absolute series, but there is some potential with this. So this is issue number 63. And then, of course, I had to get the Scotty Young variant cover for issue number 64. So I have been reading these, and they are generally entertaining. I love the Scotty Young cover. Look at that. He has that unique style that is definitely Scotty Young. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google the artist Scotty Young. You'll see what I'm talking about when you look at his other works. And some of them are, again, we're in an era now where it's kind of like they're trying to be like the 90s. They have these, they have the Donny Cates, they have the Jonathan Hickman, they have the Scott Snyder, Like, these are the big, or Hickman, what's his name? Scotty Hickman or whatever. But they have these all-star writers that they're trying to get them to the same level as the Todd McFarlane's were for the 90s kids and for us 80s kids, like Chris Claremont and stuff like that. They're trying to get that type of recognition to these guys. And, that's what makes things good, is lighting a fire and pushing towards some type of standard. I think that's the big problem with Spider-Man, is there was no standard. And a lot of people are voicing their opinions on how terrible Spider-Man has been as of late. You see all the stuff in the MCU and the movies and stuff. On the comic book side, Spider-Man has been hurting really bad. So hopefully this is a start to something better. Let's put it that way. All right, so we end up with all of that stuff. One of the things I wanted to show off is I'm not a big figurine collector. Like, there's a guy named Gen Mint Collectibles who I follow. He does a lot of omnibus, and he also does statues. So I'm not a big statue collector because, I don't have any room or anything. But I've been getting into Japanese anime, and I told this to the guy Retro Blasting. He's also been commenting about the modern Japanese animes and how he is enjoying it. And one of the movies I recommend that I thought was amazing and really fun, but also kind of thought-provoking as well, is Prison School. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the synopsis is this. Back, I think this was in the 80s or 70s, Stanford University did a kind of a project where they had half of the students be guards and the other half be inmates. And they were locked in a facility. And, keep in mind that they're all in the same class together. But as time came, as they were locked in this place, they weren't allowed to leave or anything like that. They were living that lifestyle that the guards were turning into guards and the prisoners were actually turning into prisoners. And the guards were treating the prisoners like shit, and the prisoners were, it was like, it was a psychological experiment that went good and bad at the same time. So anyway, that premise is what this anime show, because it's like 10 episodes, about. Of course, one of the absurd, being that it's Japanese, it has to be a little bit zany. So they have like the vice president, Madam Vice President is what she's called. She's supposed to be like the assistant president of a school. And this is this is her character. No lie. So this is Madam Vice President. This is what she wears, and it's just hilarious that how Japan does that. Anyway, I want to show off that. It's very well done. Statue, you got all the right attributes. So I just think it's kind of cool that it's an alternative to getting action. It's at the 12-inch scale, and it fits with all my other 12, like the Marilyn Monroe I have back there, and I'm working on an Elvira one. All right, this is really bad, so excuse me. This is going to be horrifying, but I got to fix the face. So anyway, this is the head. So I have to paint everything in. So this did not come out so good. So I had to invest in some like fine paintbrush, because the paintbrush I had wasn't. It's like a needle point paint that you have to use. It's what these toy makers use actually. So I have to make this look like Elvira, and I'll make a 12-inch Elvira Fison figure to go with Marilyn and Leia. So 3 women that I very big fans of. I want to have a little bit a section allocated to them. So even though I do have the NECA Elvira 6-inch figure, I wanted to create one of myself. So one of our 3D printing friends printed this head out for me, but I have to do all the paint applications. I wish it was ready-made. I didn't have to do this shit. But anyway, that's that. So anyway, that does it for this episode, the first episode of 2025. And again, we should have the PGX comics coming. That unboxing is a huge one. I know I mentioned it previously, but because of the hurricane, we kind of pushed it back. So there's about 20 graded comics that are coming, 21, I think. And we're going to see like the Dave Stevens one, as well as some early Amazing Spider-Man. I found somebody, and I think I mentioned it when we did the pickup episodes. You probably saw them in their ungraded state, so you get to see when they're clean and pressed and how they came out. Again, we use PGX as our grading partner because CGC is a bunch of corporate bastards. So I prefer PGX. Quality is great. All the people that say bad things about PGX, like Bryce Comics and like Very Gary Comics, they do that because they get 20% off their grading. They're trying to kiss up to a corporate entity, which is ridiculous. The PGX is just as good, folks. And it's the fans' choice for getting your books graded. You get the same quality, same faster turnaround time, plus you're helping a small business versus a giant corporation with fiscal reports and spreadsheets and a board of directors who don't give two shits about you or your X-Men comics at all. Anyway, that does it for this. We look forward to seeing you in that episode. Don't forget to check out Sith Crush's Instagram. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Codename YouTube Hero 2. This is Shabu Argues, signing off.